I am the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Fear for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had an all hope who enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.
What's up, everybody? We are back for another episode of Fireflies Forever. We're so glad to have all of you joining us, and I'm going to do this, Chris, before we get going because I know I'm going to forget. If you don't mind, folks, drop a like on the video. That helps us get seen and helps us get out there in the YouTube space and all that stuff. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you be a part of the family. So here we go, bringing us on screen. Chris, what's up, man? How you doing this week?
Doing good. Excited to be back here with everybody talking about the Wyatt Sicks.
That's right, man. We got a lot to talk about, as we always do. But now it's good that we're getting stuff on the shows that we have a lot to talk about. Before we were trying our best, but now we've got stuff, so that's a good thing. Welcome everyone in chat. Let me see if I can shout out some folks real quick. Clown, Odin's Son, John G, Jeremy, John Bennett, James Chadwick, Zach, Deanna, and let's see here. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I did take a look at that, John, and we'll probably delve into that just a little bit when we talk about the tweet that we got from the Wyatt Sicks. So stay tuned for that. I have not forgotten. So one of the few things I haven't forgotten this week. So, but as we always do, we start out every episode with memories, and I want to turn that over to Chris. He's got a couple things that he's going to share this week. So Chris, take it away, man.
Yeah. So as you guys have known, I've shared with you several times on the show. I feel lucky that ever since Jodie passed, I have had some amazing experiences with Fireflies, and I have another one to share with you guys today. So the other night, Logan was just sitting in the living room watching TV, and he says, "Dad, there's a firefly in the house." I'm like, "What? What do you mean there's a firefly in the house?" I looked around, I'm like, I don't see one. He's like, it's up there by the TV. And I started looking around, and sure enough, there was one just chilling right on our TV. I have no idea how in the world it possibly got into the house. I mean, that's, we rarely ever have windows or doors open or anything like that, especially right now. It's 90 degrees outside here.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to keep that stuff closed as much as possible. So it's very bizarre how that thing possibly got in the house, but I told Harper to come look at it, and the kids just thought that was awesome. Immediately talked about Jodie and how this made him think about her and stuff, and yeah, we took it and looked at it for a minute, and then Harper put it on her hand there to go let it back outside. But yeah, it just it just amazes me how many cool experiences I've gotten to have with Fireflies and stuff, and it will always make me think about her and make it feel like her presence is still here with us.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I didn't get a chance to tell you this, but on the 4th, I had the kids over, and we were outside kind of as it was getting dark and waiting on all the fireworks to start up and everything. And my son is like, "Daddy, was that a firefly?" And I was like, "Where?" And he pointed over to where it was and everything. And then all of a sudden, sure enough, we just started seeing a few fireflies And then I walked back to my grill area, and there's a bunch over there by my grill. So I'll send you the video so you can see it. But it was pretty awesome. So
yeah, that's one of my favorite things about summertime here. Like every night now, I walk out in my backyard. I mean, you just see them lighting up everywhere.
Lighting up the sky. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And he had never seen one like that, like close like that. So it was really cool for him. So, so yeah, it was awesome.
When Harper first picked it up off the TV too and put it in her hand, it lit up. I didn't manage to get a picture of it right then, but yeah, it lit up as soon as it went on her hand.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Man. Well, thank you for sharing that as always. I had to tell, as soon as we saw them, I started telling them your stories, and they thought it was so cool. So well, let's go to another thing that Jodie really enjoyed, and that's artwork. And we got a few things that I do have the detailed tattoo at the end. So really happy to show that. What's up, Chad? How are you? I am going to, there we go. So we got this. So here's the first one up here. Chris sent me over a couple and I found a few. So, but yeah, here's the first one. These are awesome. Oh yeah. Some really cool depictions of Howdy. And I love the way it just shows, we've seen so many different versions of Howdy, and like we talked about last week, the way Jason Baker explained that, I love that. This really shows that. Yeah, this is awesome. That's pretty darn amazing too. Yeah, that's a fantastic tribute right there, and of course the infamous line that he said. That's awesome. This is by Nicole, our good friend. Yep, fantastic as always. I love her work. Yeah, and this is a little bit larger. She always does great work. Another one of her pieces. I love that. Yeah. The originals. Yep. And as promised. Oh, wow. Huh. Like, that's just, it's awesome. Yeah, that's unbelievable. That is so awesome. The hair and the stitching and the cracks in the face, man. Yeah. Huh. And like even the gloves look a little more worn. Yeah. Which I think is just awesome detail. I mean, this whole thing is just detailed to all heck, man. It's so great. That's incredible. Yeah. Deanna saying that tat is eerie in a good way. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Odin Son saying that's great ink. Yeah. Man. Well, yeah, great artwork as always. And Chris, thank you for finding some. And yeah, no problem. Thank you to all of the artists out there who share your art. We want to see more of it. So I would throw this out to anyone in chat. I know John and Jesse send me a good bit of artwork, but if you see some, folks, send it our way. Let us know. I've definitely been noticing an uptick and seeing more art since the Wyatt Sicks came back. So that's awesome. Yeah, we're getting a lot more now, which is good. Because like we said, I think last week, as they are on TV a little bit more, I think we'll get a little bit more creativity out there. So I'm really, really excited to see what comes from what we see on screen and how that inspires artists out there. So very creative people out there. yes, very much so. All right, so we did get a match this past
Pretty awesome match, if I do say so.
Yeah, I would say so. And I guess let me ask you about that, Chris, and same thing with the chat. How are you feeling now that we're getting stuff on a pretty frequent basis?
I'm absolutely loving it. It's so cool that we're, I wondered when they first came back, I figured we might get, a lot more promos than what we've gotten and not so much matches. So I'm totally okay that it's been pretty much the opposite, that we've already had several matches with them, and that I feel like the matches keep getting better and better. And this week in particular, I felt like there was just so much there. A lot of storyline stuff happened in this match. It was good. A lot of little hints and Easter eggs at things to come, I think. Yeah, I really enjoyed this match.
So I got to ask about the elephant in the room. That's Johnny Gargano being like, nope, I can't do this. What did you think of that moment?
Oh, I absolutely love that. I love, thank you, WWE, for showcasing Rowan. That was amazing to get to see some good of him being dominant in the ring. And then, Johnny Gargano was like, nope, I don't want any part of Rowan. I'm out of here. I thought that was a really great element to it. Yeah. Love that he just bailed on them. That was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. It was a lot of fun, especially given the history. And, you sent me over this, and I'm going to make this.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool that they started the match that way, with Gargano trying to rekindle the family there, but didn't work out too well for him.
No, not at all. Not at all. Did not work out well. Did not work out in his favor. But yeah, I love the fact that it didn't work. But again, I feel like, and I think we've talked about this before, but in years past, it feels as though sometimes the intelligence of the fans was being insulted. And it felt like we're not supposed to make connections to things that have happened previously. And the fact that they kind of leaned into it, I feel is a good sign.
Oh, I feel like WWE has been doing a great job with a lot of different rivalries and matches lately. Like, they've been calling back to so much stuff. I mean, look at recently with the Cena and Punk pipe bomb stuff. Like, that was awesome that they called back to that and had Cena do his version of that. Like, I love it. I love when they do stuff like that and bring back things that are in the past that are still relevant to today. So that was really cool that they did this. And I like Dexter's statement on that. Like, he doesn't need them anymore. He found a new family with the Wyatt Sicks, and I love it.
Absolutely. Hey, Sean Rousseau, how are you? And we got you shared a couple other things with me too. I wanted to go over before we get into the tweet. But yeah, we got Uncle Howdy was wearing Bray Wyatt's gear on SmackDown. What did you think about that?
I found it very interesting. I mean, we talked about last week that Uncle Howdy was wearing Bray's jacket from the Fiend costume that he didn't get to use, and now we see him wearing this. Like, I don't know. It's really interesting to me. It really feels like a tease of something that Howdy could be changing. I'm anxious to see where that goes, but we keep getting these little teases of things like that, and even some of the things that Howdy did in the match. He's really leaning more into Bray, like the way he, bent over backwards in the corner, the way Bray used to do, and came back out and used the Uranagi like Bray used to. I love it. He's doing such a good job of honoring his brother and really leaning into that character.
Yeah, it's really awesome to see him kind of, take this and really, I mean, he's paying tribute, but I feel like he's also making it his own.
Oh yeah, taking things that he did and incorporating it into stuff that Bo already did himself.
Yeah,
like a combination of the two, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And
So
then
go ahead.
the way he always uses the yeah too. I love it. And they make sure we can always hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's always a great touch when they mic him up like that, or mic the area up so you can hear it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got this one too. And this one says Uncle Howdy has a new Fiend gunlet and the Fiend pants parts in the back.
Yeah, so just like we mentioned last week with the jacket, it's very he's definitely seems to be teasing the Fiend a little bit. I'm super excited to see that. I wonder if we're gonna slowly see a bit of transformation into that he could portray the Fiend at some point. I think that would be really cool if he decides to do that.
Yeah, I mean I feel like at some point we're gonna get something big.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that is just yet, but I can't wait to see whatever it is. So I wanted to bring this up too. James Chadwick sent this over a little bit earlier. And I don't know, Chris, if you had a chance to take a look at this or if you've seen this.
I just saw it like an hour ago.
Okay. But it says, and this is credit to Fightful, 2K25 Wyatt story coming. Unreleased Bray Wyatt footage included. And it says up here, WWE 2K25 is adding a Wyatt storyline which will feature unreleased Bray Wyatt footage, Fightful Select has learned. So, how awesome is that?
That is very awesome. I have dabbled a little bit in that game, but I will definitely be checking that out. Imagining the thought of some unreleased Bray Wyatt footage, I need to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, I mean, that's very exciting for fans of the game, but for fans of Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
Because, man, I mean, anytime we can get something new,
mm-hmm.
Unseen footage, never released footage, I mean, yeah, bring it on.
Yeah,
bring it on. I venture to say that they might sell a few more copies of the game now.
I'm guessing that will be the case.
All right. So I know John Bennett is like bursting at the seams for us to talk about this. So this is what we're going to talk about. Clown says it's probably everything they filmed for the one before, and he was released before it came out. So 2K had to remove it from the game.
Yeah, I thought I remember hearing something about a whole Bray Wyatt story or something that's supposed to be in one of the games a while back.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might be that stuff.
Yeah. And with all of this stuff, I would venture to say, and I mean, listen, I'm okay with being wrong. I would think that next year, Hall of Fame,
mm-hmm.
I think it happens.
I could definitely see that. From what I've heard so far, Triple H is leaving that up to the family whenever they're ready. Obviously, that's a hard thing. Going to be a hard night for them, but whenever they're ready for that. So, yeah, I could definitely see that happening in a year or two if they're ready for it.
Yeah, and I think
definitely going to happen whenever they're ready. He's 100% earned it.
Right. And I think that I'm glad that you brought that part up, because I think as fans sometimes we feel like it's up to us, and if we make enough noise that maybe we can make it happen. This has really nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with his family and feeling comfortable and feeling like they're ready for this to happen, because I mean, the emotions behind it, and it's not just going to be a one-night deal. There's going to be a lot of promotion leading up to that. There's going to be the announcement and everything else that comes with it. So, so I think we have to remember that as fans, that while we may want something immediately, the family has the say.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people this year around Hall of Fame get mad that Bray wasn't included, but yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, the family's still dealing with his loss. You know, it'd be a hard thing to to have to face that. So they need to be able to be ready for that. And I've also heard too that JoJo wanted the kids to be a little older before they did that too, so they can understand more about their dad and what he accomplished and stuff in his career. So
yeah, and that is perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's most important about that is
yeah,
when his family and his kids are ready for that.
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't mind if it's not till the year after next, because that's rumored to be Indianapolis WrestleMania, and then I would be at Hall of Fame.
That's right. That's right. And I feel like hopefully I could make the trip for that because I'd want to be there for that for sure. So, all right, Chris. So we got a tweet, and it's "Do you see? Soon you will." And then we got some 7s and 9s and 29s and everybody's like, man, what does all this stuff mean? And I know C Wrestling put out a video about what this could potentially mean. So I wanted to go to this tweet here because I felt like this kind of leads into the discussion. So this person tweeted, the Wyatts originally unmasked on 7/29/24. The original Wyatt family attacked Kane on 7/29. The Wyatt family originally debuted on 7/8, though I'm not sure what 7/9 is about. And then someone down in the reply, Psalm 7:9, the righteous. Okay. And C Wrestling, again, like I said, posted a video, and he's saying, could this be a tease for the righteous to join or in some way, some way, shape, or form be involved? So let's start right there. I want to throw this out to the chat, and Chris, I want to ask you, what do you think that tweet means? Have you seen any breakdowns of it or any breakdowns that you've done of it yourself? And do you think this is a tease for the righteous?
I think it's possible. We know that they were released a while back, or as far as I know, I haven't heard anything about them going anywhere else. So it sounds like they're still free agents. So definitely could happen. I know what I would, I'm sure the rest of us would love to see it. If Jodie was here, she would scream if she saw that happen. I know she wanted that to happen. So yeah, I'm definitely anxious to see where this goes. I think we're just getting part of the tease here. I'm sure we're going to keep getting more to it, and we'll find out more where this goes and what this actually means. I think that I like what they have said so far. That's cool. The connections to 7/29, especially in the past. And I think that could tie into SummerSlam too, especially, talking about, when they attacked Kane and stuff, that led to a match at SummerSlam. So that could be a part of this as well. And let me just pull up that verse for anybody who is not aware of what that says.
That's what I'm pulling up right now. So we're thinking, all right, so I'll show it on screen here.
Okay.
Here we go. Not that anybody can see that. I still don't know if folks can see it. Probably not. All right.
There we go.
There we go. So can folks see that a little bit?
It says, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the righteous. For the righteous, God tests the minds and hearts.
Yeah,
I like that. I mean, we don't know for sure if that's what that is meaning by the 7/9, but it makes a lot of sense. And we know, they've used Bible verses many times in the past. I believe they've even used something out of Psalms before, if I'm not mistaken. So it definitely could mean that. If that's the case, that very well could be a tease for the righteous. I think I saw in C Wrestling video too that the righteous had posted something about talking about a message too, which obviously ties back to what this tweet said about the message will spread. So yeah, It's very possible, and if that's the case, oh boy, am I excited.
Same. So let me ask you this as well as the chat. How does this play out? Like, how are they involved? If let's kind of play this thing out. Let's say that everyone in the chat. I mean, we've got folks. Let's see. John Bennett saying, "I think C is right, and WWE gets righteous." Deanna saying to see Vincent and Dutch in this would be awesome. Bray wanted to work with them. Clown saying righteous are definitely going to WWE. They have been completely quiet on the indie scene. Deanna agreeing with that. John Bennett saying there are a couple of recent righteous promos on YouTube. Jeremy saying, I hope we get the righteous and they do something with Wyatt Sicks. And Sean saying, I really hope it's the righteous joining WWE. Also, 7/29/25 is a Tuesday. And this is another point I wanted to bring up, which could be NXT. I know Bray wanted to work with the righteous before. So another thing that I wanted to bring up is I think it's interesting that the tweet said the message will spread.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say we do get the righteous, and let's say they are affiliated with the Wyatt Sicks in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that necessarily means that they show up on Monday or Friday.
Yeah.
I think it's very possible that we could start seeing something on Tuesdays.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel like the NXT would be a perfect fit for the righteous. That would be a great place for them to go. And I mean, that goes back to what we know we've talked about before, or what Bray had talked about, of the Wyatt Sicks having members on all brands and kind of, doing things for him on all represented on each brand, and seeing different people, but all associated with the Wyatt Sicks. So that would definitely lead, all of that points directly to Bray's vision. So that's very possible.
I also want to throw out something else, and this is something that just kind of popped into my brain. Do you think that if we do get something on Tuesdays, let's say we get Vincent and Dutch on Tuesdays, I don't think that's gonna be the end of it. Mm-hmm. So do you think we get a mirror in NXT of what we have on SmackDown with the Wyatt Sicks? Do you think we could get another full group like other people are saying? I mean, Deanna saying pull Tatum Paxley in it.
Yeah.
Do you think we could get a mirror of that group?
Yeah, I could definitely see that. There's, a depth of talent and stuff that they could use, other characters that would fit in that. We've talked about that a little bit before. Yeah, I love that idea. I think that could definitely happen.
And possibly even a more sinister group that is a little bit darker, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
John Bennett says, here's a scenario. Vincent and Dutch point out that they may have their hands on the knife, but Bray Wyatt is always guiding the knife. And that was kind of to my yes, Deanna. Yes. Deanna asking, are you thinking like Alice in the Looking Glass? Yes. Yes.
That's a good point.
That's kind of where my brain went there for a second. So I for one would love to see how they work that out. Because again, if you say the message is spreading, are you adding to the group on SmackDown? Do you have more people that are involved that you're going to get involved some way, or do you take the message to NXT?
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, because I mean, we see what they're doing on SmackDown right now. Pretty heavily involved in the tag team division, but not really. We haven't really seen them do much else besides that. So how is the message spreading? It doesn't seem to really be spreading on SmackDown. So how is it spreading? So that makes a lot of sense that it was spreading to NXT.
Right. John saying Tatum could work because in the past the Righteous did have Vita Von Star. Yeah. Deanna saying, plus you can pull a Cross into this. He's spreading his own messages. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cross is on Raw, so you never know. That could tie into it too.
Yeah. And if people haven't figured out, the fans are behind Karrion Kross.
Oh, love the We Want Cross chants on Raw last night. That was awesome.
Love to see it, man. Love
I hope
to see
WWE is paying attention and gonna, as Batista said, give us what we want.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Hey, Alicia, all good. Hopefully we can make it a little bit better. But yeah, I'm interested to see how they work all of this out. And again, I think the messaging here is very obviously we know they're going to be cryptic.
Mm-hmm.
But both of you, so James and John, I'm going to read their comments and then I'm going to go to another thought that I had. Cross is a leader, not a follower, says James Chadwick. John says Cross did say Wyndham told him that a faction on both shows is how he wanted to work with Karrion. Okay, so here's a question. Do we get a scenario potentially where we get someone, a certain leader or whoever, that feels like it's their mission to carry out this work of Bray and this world of Bray? Do we get some false teachings?
That would be interesting.
Do we get some false messaging? I mean, maybe it's done. Maybe the beginning is done with the best of intentions, but do we eventually see someone kind of take that message and kind of do it in the way that's not intended? Yeah,
that would definitely be interesting. And think back to especially in the beginning with Bray and how much he talked about that. And how there was a lot of people in WWE spreading false teachings.
Yeah, and I would even say, like, I know Deanna's saying here, well, John's saying a power struggle. Deanna's saying, yes, maybe the righteous aren't so righteous. I think the low-hanging fruit with that would be to have Karrion Kross try to take over the messaging. And maybe he's the false teacher. I don't know. I mean, the righteous would be cool too. Don't get me wrong. I think if you got this group that had kind of you can't really. I don't think you can really say good versus evil, but if you had that type of power dynamic, the power struggle, as John says, who's the group that's in the right? I would love to see something like that.
Yeah.
And all right, let's have fun with this. So let's say that is where we go with this. What type of match would you like to see between those two groups? and tell me a location other than the swamp, because I feel like the swamp would be the perfect location, but tell me where you'd like to see that match.
I definitely think there's something to be said for exploring the Funhouse again, especially the more dark, cryptic version of the Funhouse that we've seen Howdy in sometimes. Could definitely be cool. Imagine Howdy and the Righteous in a dark Funhouse.
Oh. Man. Clown saying a leader is a general. All generals need lieutenants. Cross could be a lieutenant who reports to Howdy. I like that too. John saying Cross is becoming fiendish with that lead pipe lately.
Yes, he is.
Clown saying House of Horrors, Wyatt Compound, love it.
Yeah.
Deanna saying Dream, we get the Broken Universe in and we go to the Hardy Compound.
That's another interesting point too. I just saw something the other day that the Hardys said they wanted to have one last run in WWE. I can't imagine they wouldn't love to do something to honor Bray as close as they were to him. They could definitely fact. Imagine we get everything we're talking about could come together. I mean, how insane would that be?
Well, okay. See, now you got my brain going. See, we know that, and now I'm probably trying to be a little too creative, but we know that NXT has been working closely with TNA.
Mm-hmm.
What if the message isn't just stopped at NXT?
Mm.
What if, I mean, could you see a scenario where the Righteous work with Rosemary?
Mm.
Or, and I'm trying to think, or that's a catalyst for someone like Crazy Steve to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My brain is like going a million miles a minute.
I think there's definitely potential there. I mean, we've seen, I feel like they've opened the door to almost anything happening between NXT and TNA. I mean, now we've seen the TNA title being won by an NXT star. I mean, it feels like nothing is all on its off
right
in that. So
right, and I mean, if you're TNA, why wouldn't you want? To be a part of that. John saying, what if Ava's door had the message, dig what I'm saying? I'd love that.
Oh,
I'd love that.
We'd lose it if we saw that, because then we'd know for sure.
The other thing that I think would be hilarious in all of this is seeing any members of this group, whether it's the current group or any of the folks that we're talking about, seeing Santino interact with them.
Yeah.
The hilarity in that would be so fun.
And what funny name he'd come up with to call them.
Oh man. Jeremy Dunham, James Mitchell could be involved. And not to bring up a low moment or a low point for James Mitchell. Last time I saw James Mitchell, there was an incident with some powder, and I'm not talking about Johnson & Johnson, on a pay-per-view. And, that thing kind of blew up, and I think for all intents and purposes, might have ended NWA on the CW.
Mm.
Because they had reportedly gotten a deal a couple years ago. And then I don't know if you saw this, Chris, but there was a spot on a PLE for NWA, and Father James Mitchell had some powder on the table, and he wasn't changing a diaper, we'll say. John Bent saying Billy Corgan knew Mitchell had a problem. Well, I'll say this: anybody that saw the pay-per-view saw a little bit of that powder, we'll say. James saying cocaine on NWA that was close to getting that deal was insane. Yeah, it was like everybody was all excited because it felt like NWA was making a comeback and getting some traction, and then all of a sudden that just kind of halted as soon as that happened. So I would love for Father James Mitchell to be involved, but someone else I would love to be involved would be Killer Kelly. I absolutely love Rosemary. I'd love to see her involved, but man, would I love to see Killer Kelly in this too.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. All right, so Chris, if someone said to you, I need you to put a percentage on if you think, Sami Callihan would be another good name too.
Mm-hmm.
If someone said, I need you to put a percentage on how likely you think it is for the Righteous to first off be signed by WWE, but then second be involved in this storyline, what percentage would you give it?
I mean, I would say, I could definitely see them being signed by WWE. That definitely, I would dare say 30-40% chance of that happening. I mean, that's, to me, seems very possible. But then as far as if the WWE did sign them, I don't know how they would not, at least at some point, maybe not initially, but at some point have them have some storyline interaction with the Wyatt Sicks as close as they were to Bray also. That just seems like a no-brainer if they actually do get signed by them. So I feel like it's definitely likely to happen. We've seen, how many times lately have we seen WWE snapping up talent that got released from other companies, and it's been happening a lot lately.
Yeah.
So I feel like they would be a good fit. It's something that hopefully WWE sees that they're, have been lacking in. Obviously, the Wyatt Sicks coming back helps, but to have some more characters like that, I feel like would be a really good thing for WWE. I feel like it's always something that has worked well in wrestling. I feel like, you go all the way back to the debut of The Undertaker. Dark characters and cryptic characters and stuff has always been a really big part of wrestling. It's always been something good that the fans gravitate towards and really like. So I feel like they are probably always going to be on the lookout for more characters like that. That just seems like an obvious pickup.
Yeah. I really like that. Clown says signed 90%, part of the story 60%. So Clown feels pretty confident that they're going to show up there. Here's another question for all of you, just to play devil's advocate just a little bit. What if they're not a part of the Wyatt Sicks initially? What if they join Aleister Black and that's a feud that we get down the line?
That would be very cool too. I feel like that would be an amazing fit. A Black with the Righteous.
And then if he somehow recruits his wife into that group, bringing Zelina Vega into the fold a little bit, I think I would love to see them kind of duke it out and see what spawns from there.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'd be cool to see a dark version of Zelina Vega.
Yeah. I know that I've read that some couples in wrestling don't really want to work with each other in their stories. They kind of want to have their own deal, but I would love to see her as a darker, like a kind of a darker gimmick to kind of oppose Nikki and eventually Miss Bliss, which I feel like we got to mention because I'm surprised we haven't gotten a comment yet about her.
Yeah.
So, 45 minutes into the show. But what did you think of Charlotte? Like, that didn't feel like Charlotte Flair to me, but it was awesome to see her, kind of run over and give Miss Bliss a hug after that match. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's definitely getting really interesting. I'm loving this, seeing this story develop, and can't wait to see where it goes. It'll be interesting to see if they win the tag gold at Evolution together, and how that develops. It's a really interesting dynamic of Alexa and Charlotte together, and NOC's talked about it recently. The fact that a while back we saw some rumors and stuff teasing a potential Dark Queen character. It'd be cool to see if that's what happens with Charlotte, if Alexa can turn her more to the dark side, and how that could develop. I think that could be really cool. And maybe that them two together like that could end up, leaning into something with Nikki.
Which I think is very interesting because in order for Miss Bliss to do that, think about where Charlotte is now,
Mm-hmm.
and think about where she'd have to get to
Mm-hmm.
to be that darker gimmick.
Yeah.
What the heck can Miss Bliss do? Or what will she do?
Mm-hmm.
And, I know this isn't going to happen for this weekend, but a man can dream. What if we get a version of the playground
Mm.
and we get a playground match instead of a funhouse match?
Mm.
It's Alexa and Charlotte. And Miss Bliss does the same thing to Charlotte as Bray did to John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we get that break. How would we feel about that?
That would definitely be very interesting. I like what she's doing so far, and she knows a good weakness of Charlotte and the way she's been tempting her with the idea of gold. We know how Charlotte feels about winning championships. And so I really like that they've called, she used that as the motivation for them to team together, that they could win gold even if they don't like each other. So that's cool. And to see that she's using that to get in the head of Charlotte. So who knows where she could go from there with that. I like that idea.
I just sent to Deanna, what if this is all a ploy to get her to the playground?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like if she can get enough into her head, she might be able to get her to manipulate her to do anything that Alexa wants.
Mm-hmm. Especially because I don't think we can underestimate Charlotte's desire to be a champion.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was very interesting, her reaction to being told that she'd be put in the tag tournament.
Yeah. I feel like she'd do just about anything for gold.
For gold, exactly. So I throw that out there as a possibility of maybe something that could help bring Charlotte out of her comfort zone, we shall say.
Yeah.
And why not use the playground as that vehicle that can do that?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Alicia saying, remember Charlotte destroyed Alexa's old Lily.
Oh yeah, a lot of history there. And Charlotte's been on the playground before.
Yeah.
Previously with Alexa. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of history there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a possibility, I think. I would love to see it because, like Deanna said, it shows that Charlotte can do more. Mm-hmm. I feel like sometimes Charlotte kind of gets pigeonholed into this one lane.
Oh, yeah.
And
ever since she came back and winning the Rumble and everything, she's just, fans have been booing her like crazy and stuff. So and I feel like this could be a good way to turn that around too. I mean, look how the fans have been reacting to Alexa since she came back. I mean, they're loving it. So them, her turning more like Alexa and them siding together could really help Charlotte get more over with the fans in a dark way. Yeah.
And if you're someone who's like, well, this, I've seen it out there. People saying, well, yeah, but she needs to be involved with the Wyatt Sicks immediately. I feel like all of this is leading to that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can rush what the plan is. I don't think we should rush what the plan is or want to rush that.
I mean, with Alexa coming back with, the gear, she had obviously a big part of that was a tribute to Bray and everything. But I mean, the stuff on the doll and everything that we talked about before, I mean, there's obvious ties to the Wyatt Sicks there. I mean, it's got a 6 on one of the eyes. Like, I have confident they have some kind of a storyline down the road for them to interact with each other. But for whatever reason, that it's not there yet. We have to get there, and that's cool. I want to let it play out and see what happens, because I have no doubt that they have a plan in mind and know what they're doing.
Absolutely. Deanna, slow burn.
Slow burn, that's right.
Yes. Yeah, I think we gotta let it play out and see what happens from this. And I mean, because I think if we're all being a little bit honest, I think a lot of us were concerned at how they were going to bring the Wyatt Sicks back.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but I feel like they've kind of nailed it so far. Because again, we weren't expecting to see them on screen as much in terms of in the ring and in action. We're seeing them more, and it's not just like we're seeing them and there's no furthering of the story. We're seeing them and we're getting more and more every week. We're seeing more from this group every single week, other little layers to the group. So, and you brought up earlier, but them kind of letting Rowan run wild and do his thing Friday, I thought was cool. So,
and if I recall right, I mean, I think just in the last few weeks since they came back, I think they've about had as many matches as they had their entire first run before Bo's injury. Pretty close, anyway.
Yeah,
so that's awesome that we've already seen that many matches. I like where they're going with that, and then hopefully we're just going to keep seeing more and more actual matches from them. They're making it wrestling more of a focus and more of a priority with it, which is good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's great. Deanna saying, well, Alicia said you can't rush perfection. Deanna saying to make characters based on real people, they have nailed it. Agreed. Jeremy saying, remember the NWO was a slow burn. Papa H is, Triple A, I will say for a little while, they did hit a lull. I think they've ramped things back up now.
Yeah.
I think
that's bound to happen. It's never going to, be perfect or go exactly the way we all want it to all the time. And it's not even, there's no way it can ever go at a high, fast pace all the time either. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be lulls and stuff. I mean, that's just inevitable.
Yeah. Man. Well, Chris, somehow we've managed to, I don't know how it's 6:54, but it's 6:54.
I know. We get talking about theories and things that we'd love to see, and the time just flies.
It just flies. So, all right, man. So, I want you to share any final thoughts that you have, folks in the chat. If you've got some last minute theories or idea, throw them out in the chat. But Chris, man,
to ask the chat, we haven't even talked about it yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Wyatt Sicks have another tag team title match this Friday. What do you guys think is going to happen?
That's right. I have an idea on that. I think we don't. I don't think we get a finish this time either.
I think I'm leaning towards. I think it's possible they win the tag belts, but I'm leaning more towards shenanigans again. I think as many tag teams don't like them right now, and definitely don't want to see them win the tag belt. I feel like they're going to get involved, and it makes sense. We've been talking about this possible, multi-tag team match. I think that if we're going to get to that point, we need this to keep happening. We need tag teams to keep getting involved until Nick Aldis finally like, okay, fine, all y'all just get in the ring and settle it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna get to that point.
Mhm.
And I think it was Clown last week that said something about like a gauntlet match or something
Oh
to that
yeah,
effect. Yeah.
yeah, I
Great.
love that idea.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Because my goodness, that would be awesome. So
So yeah,
but yeah,
got something already to look forward to. We know they're going to be in another tag team title match on Friday, and can't wait to see what happens. And sure, we'll have a lot more to talk about next week.
absolutely we will. Absolutely. Last thing I'll ask you about that match. If we do get shenanigans, is it one team? Is it someone new?
Hmm.
Or do we just get the whole tag division again jumping on them?
I tend to lean more towards the whole tag team division, like you said, because I feel like something is that seems likely as to what would happen to cause them to have that big match between all the teams. Nick Aldis might start getting frustrated that every week the teams keep getting involved in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that idea, Deanna.
Yeah, holding in a hell in a cell tag
Yeah.
match. Clown saying the whole division. John G saying the same thing. So, man, Deanna saying everybody. Yeah, just put the whole dang put the whole dang division in a hell in a cell and just say whoever comes out, whoever makes it out, you're the champs.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh man, well, this was good stuff, man. Great as always, Chris, chatting about this with you and everyone in the chat. We will be back Thursday for TNA Wrestling, and we are making our way to Slammiversary, and it's in a couple weeks on the 20th, so we'll be here for that. Sunday, July 20th, we'll be here for Slammiversary, one of TNA's biggest shows of the year. And of course, we got to be with you on the road to Slammiversary. So we'll be here Thursday for our TNA watch along. Join us at 7:45 p.m. Eastern for that. Yeah, and we'll be back. I think Joe and I are gonna do an abbreviated show on Sunday between the roasts, but we'll put all of that information out on social media for everybody once we've made a decision on that. But
after Evolution.
Yeah, after Evolution. Yeah, we'll do it after Evolution, kind of do a recap of all of the action from the weekend because there's a lot of wrestling.
Yeah.
There's a ton.
A lot of wrestling this weekend.
A lot of wrestling. We've got Saturday night's main event. We've got Evolution on Sunday. We've got AEW All In Texas. We've got the Great American Bash. So there's a ton of stuff this weekend.
Yeah.
And as we say often on this channel, if you can't find wrestling to enjoy, that is not a wrestling problem, my friend. That is a you problem.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of good wrestling out there.
Yeah, and Clown keeps us up on the GCW show. So GCW Boss of Bosses on Friday. So even more wrestling.
Yeah.
And James Chadwick is letting you know exactly how much it is.
Yes, there's no shortage of good wrestling.
No shortage of good wrestling. So yeah, hopefully you all can find something to enjoy this weekend. NXT is tonight, so a lot of stuff heating up with TNA and NXT, and you got Joe Hendry and Mike Santana, and now you got Masha Slamovich and JC Jane, and there's just a lot going on. So a great time to be a wrestling fan. Chris, last question before we get out of here. Which wrestling show are you looking forward to most this coming weekend?
Honestly, I'm most looking forward to Evolution.
Yeah.
That we've talked about for a while. I feel like the last few years, for the most part, the women's Money in the Bank matches, women's War Games matches, women's Royal Rumbles have I've liked those a lot of times more than the men's. So the depth of talent that WWE has right now in the women's division between all the different brands is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And the card, looks great so far. Wouldn't be surprised if we get some surprises on that show too. So yeah, been a while since they've done one. I'm really looking forward to Evolution. I think it's gonna be a great show.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope it's extremely successful so we can see one going forward. I want to see it annually.
Oh yeah, I think I feel like that'd be great for women's wrestling if they could do that show annually.
And the only complaint that I really have, the only thing I'm going to ask of WWE is please do not jam pack it in a weekend with all this other wrestling.
Yeah.
Next time. Because I feel like
it had more of its own spotlight. It's being lumped in, with Great American Bash and Saturday Night's Main Event, which I understand, and they're doing it all in the same city, so that's really cool for anybody that lives in and around Atlanta. You get to go to all those awesome shows.
Right.
But, yeah, it would be nice if it had more of its own spotlight. But hopefully, being the last WWE show of the weekend, maybe that can go out with a bang and really leave a good impression on people and be one of the highlights of the weekend, something really memorable.
Yeah. I'm hoping it'll be a great show with a great response, and I know a lot of people have been really looking forward to it. So
hoping to see Rhea Ripley win the title back from Io Sky.
Yeah. And I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to Naomi and Jade Cargill.
Oh yeah, that should be a great match, especially
should be great.
No holds barred.
Exactly. All right, folks. Well, we're gonna head out of here. Thank you all so much again. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your comments, your theories, your feedback. If you don't mind, drop us a like on the video before you head out if you haven't done so already. And if you are new to the channel, we're glad that you're here with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the show, and hopefully you'll come back and join us again. So hit that subscribe button. Chris, as always, man, a lot of fun. Let's say we do it again next week.
Yep, good talk. Hope to see everybody again next week.
All right, man. Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone in the chat. And we're going to get out of here. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy all of the great wrestling this week. There's a lot of it. So enjoy it. Have fun with it. And hopefully we'll be back with you again next Tuesday to chat about it and see what's going to happen next. So thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll chat with you again soon.
I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving me insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the